The Indiana Pacers defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder 108-91. Now we're going to have a game 7, which is exciting, I have to say. As a neutral fan, I can appreciate a game 7, so I'm looking forward to it. But just going back to this game, I would say this game was kind of interesting at the start. It was pretty much decided early on, I feel, like who was going to win. But the start was interesting because OKC jumped out to a 10-2 lead. And by the way, OKC was playing the first few minutes of this game. You would think that OKC was probably going to blow out the Pacers. It just looked like they were going to just hammer them and crush them. But I felt that stretch was a crucial stretch when the Pacers were down 10-2, simply because it's a stretch where they could have given up and just gotten their ass handed to them. But in this situation, I felt Siakam was crucial in the sense that he scored 5 straight points for them, which made the lead 10-7. Granted, it's really early in the game, but I thought that was important because it set the tone early that the Pacers were not just going to lay down and die and give up. And I thought it looked like that from the beginning when OKC came out strong, but Siakam gave them that extra boost by scoring those points when it seemed like this was going to start off as a blowout. And then in the second quarter, Indiana went on like a 30-9 run, and once they did that, it was pretty much over. This game was pretty much a snooze fest after that. You knew Indiana was going to win, and that OKC was just not going to come back by the way they were playing. But a few things stood out to me in this game is that both teams overall did not shoot well from the field. OKC shot 41.9 overall from the field, and Indiana just shot 41.3. So they're about the same shooting wise. Granted, the Pacers shot slightly better from three, shooting 35%, while OKC shot 26.7%. So slightly better from three. But to me, the biggest game changer really for Pacers in this game was that they had 16 steals, which is ridiculous. That's a lot of steals for a team to have in this game. And that led to the Thunder actually having 21 turnovers. And it's usually the Thunder forcing that many turnovers against their opponent instead of them committing that many, which was big. Getting them to turn over the ball 21 times is a huge reason why the Pacers were able to win this game despite shooting real poorly in this game. That they were able to convert off those turnovers, get out in transition, and get the buckets that they needed. Now, I felt Tyrese Haliburton was solid in this game, but he wasn't great. He was decent. 5 of 12 from the field, 3 of 7 from three, 5 assists, 2 steals. He set the tempo, 1 turnover, but he didn't have to be great in this game because the Pacers defense made up for it. And I also felt TJ McConnell was huge off the bench. He had 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. That's a great stat line for coming off the bench. And I think he's very underrated because he sets the tempo for the Pacers. At times when I watch him play, he kind of makes me think of like a poor man's Steve Nash, the way he pushes the ball up the court and causes so many problems, at least offensively. Granted, defensively, I would say for sure he's better than Nash with what he does, but it's just like he's a disruptor and he's just very underrated off the bench. And I think that helps to make up for Haliburton not being 100% because he can give the Pacers big minutes in the time he plays on the court, which is crucial. If I'm the Thunder next game, I would key in on this guy immediately once he comes off the bench. He's very important. He leads the Pacers bench mob, as I call them. So he was big off the bench in this game, and so was Obi Toppin with 20 points. Obi was hitting just about every open 3-point shot he had, and he was spreading the floor. He was great offensively, but overall, the Pacers bench was amazing in this game. I'm just trying to see how many bench points they had overall. Just let me just do the math here. Okay. So they had 48 bench points. That's a lot of bench points. And you look at OKC's bench, it is, just give me a minute or two. OKC's bench at 37, but I think that's deceptive when you factor in a lot of these guys are getting these points in garbage time. But I would say the Pacers bench was huge in this game, but they've been huge throughout the playoffs. So this was no exception. That's one of the Pacers' strength. And OKC will definitely have to find a way how to match their bench in Game 7. Now, when I look at just the Pacers, it was really the bench that played great. The starters were just okay. They didn't really shoot great outside of Neymar. Rest of them just shot average to below average, but really the bench was big to overcome the starters not shooting well. Now, when you look at OKC, Chet Holmgren was Shet, as I call him. When he plays bad, my nickname for him is Shet because he really was Shet in this game. 2 of 9 from the field, 4 points, 6 rebounds, 2 turnovers. That's not going to cut it. SGA, he had a decent shooting game, 7 of 15, 21 points, but this was a mediocre game for his standards, and he just was taken out of this game by the Pacers defense. He had 8 turnovers in this game. That's unacceptable. You can't have that many turnovers. He needs to be better. He needs to give a typical SGA game he gives during the regular season. Get over 30 points on 50% shooting. Be efficient. If he does that, then OKC can win the next game. Jalen Williams, he had a okay game, 6 of 13 for the field. To me, it was kind of interesting that he started off strong and then he just suddenly was MIA for the rest of the game. That was the interesting thing about Jalen Williams. I just think for the Thunder to win the next game, Jalen Williams and SGA had to play up to their capabilities and just hit their regular season averages. If they do that, they should be fine. And Shet has to be better. He has to stop playing like Shet if they're going to win Game 7. So you could say OKC's big three needs to improve for Game 7 and play up to what they're regularly been playing up to during the season and the playoffs. If those three step up, they should win at home, I would say. And so that just needs to happen and just take care of the ball better. If you're OKC, if you're Pacers, just keep doing what you're doing and hope for like some luck on the road. One thing is interesting. I've looked up the stats for Game 7s in the NBA Finals, and the road team in NBA history has only won 4 times. The Game 7 last time was 2016 with the Cavs winning Game 7 against the Warriors. Prior to that, I'm just going back into the files. The last Game 7, I believe, was, actually, now I got it, was 1978, in which the Washington Bullets won Game 7 on the Seattle Supersonics floor. So they won Game 7. And then the next time, the prior time was 1974, in which the Boston Celtics defeated the Bucks in Game 7 of the NBA Finals in Milwaukee. Granted, back then, Milwaukee was in the Western Conference. So that explains why those two teams met up in the NBA Finals. And then prior to that was 1969, in which the Boston Celtics won Game 7 against the Lakers in Los Angeles. So it doesn't happen that many times, only 4 times. And I think the NBA has been around for now, I think about 80 years. Like I think it's been 80 years. So 4 times in 80 years, if you do the math, you break it down and you get deeper into it, that gives you like 5% odds based on history of winning Game 7 on the road if you're Indiana. So I think history favors OKC to win Game 7. I expect they will win Game 7. I've said this for a while, that I said prior to even this Game 6 that whoever won Game 4 would win the series, and OKC won that Game 4. And I still back my words in that. Like, nothing has changed in that regard. I still feel OKC is going to win Game 7, but I think it'll be entertaining. I think OKC will play a lot better because usually if you get blown out, the next game is always closer, especially if you're going to play on your home court. So we'll see what happens, and that's all I had to say about this.